Good. Boker Tov, everyone. A very good Erev Shabbat. The centerpiece of Parsha or more meaningful, or they wanted through this that they would achieve a higher spiritual experience. But whatever it is, the Torah says that that was their problem. Since we're talking about the Ktoret, the incense, and the Ktoret was always lethal. The Ktoret had the ability to save lives and stop plagues, but it also has the ability to destroy completely. So we'll see that by Korach, that they're destroyed because of the Ktoret. We'll see by the plague in the desert that Elazar Cohen is able to stop the plague with the Ktoret. The Ktoret is, I don't know how to put it, but let's say it's a neutral thing. Sometimes it kills and sometimes it saves. We have such phenomena with medicine. For instance, God forbid, a cancer can be treated by X-rays. X-rays cause cancer. There are things in the world that are not very clear to us. That's the whole idea of the Porah Aduma, Parshas Porah that we read last week. That on one hand, the Porah Aduma purifies, on the other hand, it makes the person Tomei impure. So we'll think about that generally in life. There are many things that are like that. I often think that wealth is one of those things. Some people, wealth is the greatest gift. They do so much good with it. And for some people, wealth is poison, destroys them. I was mentioned the anecdote of the Chofetz Chaim that he met a Jew on the street that he knew, and he asked him politely, "How are you? How are things going?" So the man said to Rebbe, he said, "It wouldn't hurt me if I had an extra $1,000 a week." So the Chofetz Chaim said to him, "How do you know it wouldn't hurt you?" So we all know people who, under normal circumstances, are decent, good to be around. And we know people who strike it rich and then they're insufferable. So wealth is a neutral thing. Torah is a neutral thing. Horaduma is a neutral thing. The Gemara says even Torah is a neutral thing. Zocha, if a person has merit, in other words, that he has a good record of behavior and the proper attitudes in life, so then if he becomes a scholar, is nasalo sam chayim, so then the Torah is the elixir of life. Lo zocha, what if he's a boor? Scholars can be boors, and boors can be scholars. I remember it's almost a year that I had to have surgery at the Hadassah. So there was originally someone in the next bed. Later, they traded him for an Arab who was an interesting man. But anyway, this first person, so the doctors came in the morning to do their routine, their check. So they said to him, Mar Cohen, Echata Margish. He said, Lo Mar Cohen, Professor Cohen. So then people become insufferable. So it's a mixed blessing, but depends what you do with it. Lo zocha nasa lo samamovis. The famous Yiddish anecdote that the shadchan said to the young man, he said, I have a wonderful girl for you. So the young man said, okay, tell me something about her. So he said, she's got a great personality, and she has a profession, and she comes from a great family, everything wonderful. So the young man said, that's good. He said, tell me though, what are her faults? Because no one is perfect. So he said, she stammers. So he said, oh, she can't talk right. He said, no, that's not the negative thing. It's a positive thing. She won't talk much. So he said, what else? So he said, well, she has problems. Her hands are not mobile. So he said, that's not good. So the shotgun said, no, that's wonderful. She won't ever be able to strike you or the children, etc. So it's a good thing. So he said, and what else? So he said, she has a short temper. So the man said, that's not good. How can I marry her? He says, I don't understand a woman that has so many positive traits and you don't want her. All the negatives are positive. So it depends how you look at it. So here we have a question that arises. What is the basic sin here of the sons of Aaron? The Torah identified it as the Torah. But the Torah, so to speak, is only the end of the line. What started it? Why would the sons of Aaron deviate from what they were commanded to do? Why would they think that they're entitled, so to speak, to make the servant more meaningful. We're trying to make things more meaningful. So we make them less meaningful. And then it becomes, almost a parody of itself. So there are two opinions in the Talmud. The Talmud, it naturally accepts what the Torah said, that their sin was this foreign fire, or the misuse of the incense offering. But the Talmud's interested in what was their motive? What brings a person to do this? And that's especially great people. Mikrovai Kodesh, it says. Those that were closest to me, those that were holiest. What drives people? And the Torah always outlines for us human nature. And these are lessons we're supposed to learn from the narratives of the Torah and Tanakh, the Talmud. Zeh Sefer Toldo Sodom. This is the book about people. It's not about God. The Torah doesn't talk about God at all. It doesn't list his attributes, nothing. The Rambam even says that when the 13 attributes that appear, he said, you have to understand them as negative and not positive. In other words, God is not merciful. But you can't say he's merciful because we can't describe God. If you can't describe God, there's no adjective that fits it. So what is it with the sons of Aaron? What's driving them? So the Gemara says one reason. They were committed never to marry and have children. Why? What lies in that? And all the commentators point out that there are many people in life that for reasons don't find a proper mate or don't father or mother children. What is this? That because of this, they are forced to bring a foreign fire and they're going to be destroyed. So in a broader sense, when the great masters of Musar looked at this, they said as follows: none of the Navi'u made a commitment. Their commitment was not to the future. Having children is a commitment to the future. We see now there's a great trend in the Western world not to bring children into this world. A, children are a pain. B, you never know how they're going to turn out. Too big a risk. Especially no child ever is what the parent wanted 100%. So they said, we don't want to go through it. We're not committed to the future. Let God take care of the future. I don't have to contribute to it. Having children is a commitment to the future. It's a statement that there is a future. A statement somehow that it all doesn't end with me. If you want to be a Kohen, a priest in the temple, then you have to have a commitment to the future. The commitment to the future allows a person to be tolerant, to be patient. I look back, Baruch Hashem, I had a birthday this week. I cannot even imagine it, but that's the way it is.
39.
Almost 40. I look back at my Rabbeim, but my teachers and mentors in the yeshiva, some of them, it's 80 years already since I sat as a child to learn with them. They had enormous patience. They're Eastern European Jews who were great scholars, who had to flee either before the war or after the war, and who were now teaching 10-year-olds who were interested in what the White Sox did today and couldn't care less why Rashi and Tosfos disagree. So you have to have patience. You have to be able to say, well, 40 years from now, this kid may get it. So we're going to work on him. We'll give him tools. We'll give him skills. We'll try and shape his attitude towards life, because there's a future. By declaring that they're not going to marry and they're not going to have children, that they're not talking about a biological event. They're talking about a path in life. He's not going to have children. Do we have that today in the Western world? All over the Western world. There's a famous historian, she's a Canadian. She's a very, very astute woman and a great lecturer. I've heard many of her lectures. I heard an interview that she did with someone. She must be now 70 or 75. And she said her greatest regret in life is that she never married until she didn't have children. And she said very tellingly, you can't take a Nobel Prize with you. The Nobel Prize doesn't remember you. So that was one of their motivations. And because of that self-centered motivation, that narcissistic motivation, that I don't want the problem, so that already allows them to tinker with the service, because it's all up to me now. I can do whatever I want. So my service is more meaningful if I play a guitar. Or if I stand on my head, whatever. All the innovations that exist in the Jewish world to make prayer more meaningful. There's a second opinion in the Talmud. So this opinion is that there's no future. The second opinion in the Talmud is that they said, Mosai Yamusu Shnei Zkenim Halolu. When will these two old men, Moshe and Aaron, already pass from the scene? V'ani v'yato nanigas ador. And you and I will be the ones that are the leaders of the people. So if the first opinion is that it's a disrespect of the future, the second opinion is a disrespect of the past. We don't want to hear what the old people have to say. It's interesting, I thought about it, that we live in an age where people, Baruch Hashem, live much longer than they did when I was growing up. When I was growing up, most of us didn't even know a grandparent, let alone a great-grandparent. So that causes a problem. People live too long. What do you do with them? And let Noah tell you that getting old doesn't bring with it infirmities. So how do you look at the old? Are they a baggage? They're ruining the Social Security system. The Social Security system was based on actuarial computations that people would die at 70 or 71. And that's no longer true. So they're a burden in every sense of the word. So we don't want to consult with them. We don't want to hear what they have to say. We don't want to, we're not interested in that. So on one hand, they have no future, and on the other hand, they have no past. Someone spoke to me this weekend. He said, you know, at the Seder, we're going to say the Haggadah again. We said that so many times. I want to make the Seder more meaningful. And we all know that story. What should I do? I said, who's at your Seder? So he said, well, thank God. He said, this year I'm going to have little grandchildren. So I said to him, little grandchildren never heard the Haggadah before. To them, it's not old news. And therefore, that's why you have to do it, so that they can remember what their grandfather's Seder looked like. So it's the continuity that's involved here that the Talmud identifies as the weakness of the sons of Aaron. On one hand, they don't really believe in a future. We are now, I don't even know how to describe where we are in the war, right? We're somewhere. We're not at the beginning. We're certainly not at the end. We don't know what to do. We got our wonderful friends in America sitting on our head. Our enemies surround us. Do we have a future? And if you listen to the Israeli radio, which I no longer do, you got to pack up your bag and leave. There's no future. And there's also no past. None of the mistakes of the past are admitted. The faith of the past is still not with many. So if there's no past and no future, they're destroyed, the Talmud says. They have to be destroyed. They can't be the leaders of the people. They can't be Kohanim. The Jewish people are built on the past and on the future. Schor yemos olam, binu shnos dor vador, shalavicha v'yagetcha, skenecha v'yomelach. You have to know the past. If you know the past, you'll have a future. So when Chazal searched for the motive behind Nodav and Avihu, tinkering with the service of the Ktoros, which is lethal, and they looked deep into the soul of them, and they found the weakness. And people without a past and without a future have no present either, much as they claim that they do. So that's an important lesson for us, to renew our contact with the past. And to strengthen our belief in the future. Someone called me up and he said, he said, I reread one of your history books. He said, I read it when it came out. He said, but that was 20 years ago. He said, I really didn't understand then what you're writing about. Now I understand it better. The past makes more sense as the present unfolds. So therefore, the Torah tells us that Aaron's reaction was to be silent. Vayidom Aaron. He didn't say anything, because he realized what the problem was. They didn't have a past, they didn't have a future, they don't have a present either. And they certainly cannot be the servants of the Jewish people, who at one and the same time live in the past and in the future as well. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for coming. Saturday night, we have at 8:30 on the anti-Semitism of the left. Again, thank you.
I met the rabbi tonight, but some